What is up, YouTube? It's Grinch, and this is the first of a 5-part series that I'm doing on some of the first ever Lego dinosaurs that we got way back in 2001. It has been more than 20 years since these Lego sets came out, so I thought it'd be fun to take a look back at each set and then rank them overall in that final 5th part. There's 4 sets total. There'll be 4 parts going into each individual set, and then that final video will be ranking them all. Today, though, we are going to start with the Brachiosaurus set here on the left. As you can see, this is everything that is included in this set. The instructions are quite simple and is one oversized double-sided sheet that includes a unique set of playmat style prints on the back, which is really cool because we don't see that sort of stuff in Lego very often these days. Looking at these instructions, it shows you how to make the basic body of the dinosaur, and then it has the image of all 4 completed variations around the side that you can build within this set. It also, which I super appreciate, includes all the pronunciations of the dinosaurs under each of their names, which is a nice touch, especially, for kids that were trying to learn how to say these dinosaurs' names as well. So it is definitely worth noting that you can only build 1 dinosaur at a time, and you cannot build all 4 at the same time without buying a total of 4 sets. Now let's take a look at all the combinations. Here's the main build on the front of the set, the Brachiosaurus. This is a great build, and you can see that it captures the dinosaur quite well, in my opinion. The headpiece looks pretty great. It's definitely apparent that they, modeled this head after a Brachiosaurus sauropod type of dinosaur. The feet do move. There's pretty good movement as well with the neck and the tail. It is worth noting that the feet move together though, as they are all one piece, and same thing with the feet in the back. You can see there are a larger version of those back feet in the front and then the smaller version in the back. The sides do feature some nice detailed printing as well as the legs, and for me, I do wish that the head had more printing on it. I think the plain design helps them keep these dinosaurs more universal as it's used throughout this series. However, it's definitely more restricted in that way, as you can't get any face printing on it. But the one thing that this definitely lacks from is eye printing overall. You can see there's just the molded eye, there's no printing there, and I think a print would have been really nice. Overall, though, the Brachiosaurus looks pretty good to me, considering it's from 2001 and there was definitely some limitations at the time, and is definitely, really good model overall. Up next is the Placeosaurus. This looks pretty good, but it's definitely not as good as the Brachiosaurus if you're comparing the two to the source material. And it's important to remember that this is the secondary build as well of the set, not the main build that the Brachiosaurus is. So obviously, typically those main builds are going to be the perfect ones. The major issue I have with this is that the neck is just a little bit too long in my opinion, and that head isn't ferocious looking enough. Does reuse that same head as you'll see throughout this series, but it should be kind of this more ferocious carnivorous underwater head, which just isn't captured here in my opinion. Personally, I just see the Brachiosaurus head here, and from my understanding it also had some sharper teeth too, so just a miss, but I understand they were reusing the head. A lot of the pieces here are reused. However, otherwise, I do appreciate it that they included a water dinosaur. I think that's really cool, right? We got a lot of land, herbivore type of dinosaurs here, and this was just very different with these unique fin pieces as well. They were seen in another set, but it's just different. It just mixes it up, and it gives you a reason to change your main build tier and build something different from it. So overall, I think this really captures that idea well, and having different dinosaurs in the same set. Up next is the Platyosaurus. So this dinosaur is the worst of the bunch in my opinion. The legs and the tails are a bit too long, and the tail's also too skinny. The legs should be skinnier as well, and they're really tall, and the arms should definitely be skinnier too. The feet here are definitely a little bit oversized, but they needed to do that to fit into the Lego system, right? Because there's a Lego building a standard, but also it needed to help balance this dinosaur, otherwise it'd be way too front heavy, so that you can, stick it on the ground and it can stand, or you can also stick it in some studs. I do, however, appreciate they tried to do something different and mix it up a little bit. Instead of just having another sauropod, they got you a two-legged dinosaur with some arms, but overall definitely the weakest of the bunch and a little bit of a miss in my opinion. Up next, we have the Diplodocious. This build is pretty solid in my opinion. It's the same exact build as the Brachiosaurus, however the front and the back legs are switched, so the front legs are smaller and the back legs are larger, which is what it's supposed to look like, and this is pretty good. It's the second best build in this set. However, my one complaint is, for getting technical and specific here, is those back legs are a little bit too tall, and it almost makes it look like this dinosaur is toppling over versus just having taller legs on the back and smaller on the front. However, that's not a real major takeaway. Again, that's just a limitation of the system. So overall, really, really good attempt in my opinion. One of the last things that I think is really cool is the top of this container has studs on it, so you can use the top as a stand for a display. And I think this is a really cool touch that you really don't see often in Lego anymore. Overall, I really enjoyed this set, and I think the Brachiosaurus is obviously the strongest of the group, which is why I have it on displayed here. I think it's a great idea to be able to buy one set and customize it into 4 different dinosaurs, like how this one had the Placeosaurus in it too, so that you had a reason to change up that dinosaur. It was a water dinosaur versus a land dinosaur, so I really like that inclusion. The system is pretty good. It's definitely a cool idea. However, it is lacking in number of pieces that are available to it. There's a lot of reuse here, which I get, but it definitely limits the system overall. I do, however, appreciate the newer molds that we have in Lego today more after looking back at these sets. These were a great first attempt, but those newer molds definitely bring something more to the table. Lastly, if you enjoyed this video, please consider liking, subscribing, and joining in the conversation in the comment section below. As always, thank you for watching, and I will see you in part 2.